could stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic
for which it
which
stands,
one
one
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. You ready?
Ready?
Okay,
Jimmy
Mr. McKinney.
No, you got it, Karen. Go ahead.
Okay,
You see
Mr.
us.
McKinney,
Here.
Mr. Gussenberg,
Here.
Mr. Clavette,
Here.
Mr. O'Reilly,
Here.
Mr. Durkee,
Here.
Mr. Bowman, Mr. Nadeau,
Here,
Ms. Waldron, and Mr. Robitaille.
Before we get started, can they hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Before we get started, I wanted to thank all of you for being flexible on this scheduling. We do this because the staff who works till 4 or 4:30 also then comes to our meeting and runs this program here. And once we get back inside and together, we'll go back to normal hours, but we're really trying to do this for the benefit of everybody. And I apologize if some people can't make it at this time. Okay, anyone from the public willing to address here? Nope. Correspondence, George, what do you have to say? No, George. Okay, we're looking for approval of the minutes of January 27th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Rich, seconded by,
David.
I'll second it.
any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Okay, unanimous. Monthly financial status, any questions? Consent calendar, looking for a motion to approve unless someone wants to exempt an item and discuss it further. Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Made by Rich C., seconded by,
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
okay, seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand, please. Steve? Okay, unanimous. Old business, utility tunnels. Anything updated, Rich?
No updates for this month, Chairman.
Okay. ADA interior code compliance.
Yeah, that's me, right?
Yeah, it's,
So, we've had a number of meetings to vet the vendors. We had 4 low bids with Nozzle Builders Incorporated as the low bid. Last night, we got the final summation. We had a subcommittee meeting to get the final summation from the architect to get his perspective on the lowest qualified bid, which was again Nozzle. We've gone back and forth a number of times. His number was, lower than the average of the 3 remaining bidders. So there was some question as to whether the scope was covered. The architect confirmed that the scope was covered, and Joe Nozzle himself was pretty adamant that he had everything covered. So with that, we have a successful bidder, and I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to the town council that this project be awarded to Nozzle Builders Incorporated. Anybody have anything? Nozzle Builders Incorporated in the amount of $750,000 and no cents.
Okay, motion and now a second, please.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a quick question, Rich, have we had any experience working with this company before?
Yes, Nozzle Builders did the renovation of, I believe, the East End Firehouse some years ago. George could speak to that. And they also successfully completed the Doolittle kitchen renovation. I think it was 2018.
Yeah,
So we do have experience with them.
And
And
it was
they're
positive.
reputable and
Very
have
positive.
quality.
Karen, George finally showed up.
It's about time, George.
Oh, was that a foghorn?
Yeah,
Just a
good to see
foghorn.
you.
I don't think we want to know.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on this? Sensing you're ready to vote, please raise your hand. Sending this to the council. Appears to be unanimous. Steve, stop moving around. You're in the upper corner last time.
Well, there were two Steves. There were two
I got-
Steves a minute
I got the
ago.
computer. I got my
There he is.
laptop
Okay.
working. So
Gotcha.
School security improvements, Mr. Clavette or Mr. Arai or Mr. Gussenberg. Take your pick.
Take your pick. I'll give you a quick update. I believe the bids are due tomorrow. Isn't that correct? Somebody?
Yes.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
bids are-
So,
bids are due tomorrow for that project. So we had a pretty decent turnout. Sorry? We had a pretty decent turnout for contractors. So I'm curious to see what we'll actually get for physical bids. But it looks like we'll find out tomorrow. So tomorrow the bid opening, and then we'll meet as a subcommittee to review, vet the bidders, and then go from there.
Okay, anybody have any other questions?
Rich, has that meeting been scheduled for the?
No. Nope. No.
Go ahead, George.
This may be one, Mr. Chairman, where, depending on what the subcommittee wants to do, it may be prudent for the PDC to have a special meeting next week, just for this one item to, if the bids are favorable, to move that forward, just so that the council could act on it in March at their meeting. The PBC
What date is that meeting, George?
March 9th is the council meeting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tuesday, right?
It's going to be a quick vet.
We could do it on the next day if that would work.
Right, I mean, you could do it March 3rd, maybe.
Well, doing this before or after?
If the bids are due tomorrow
Okay,
for that project. So if by next week, this time, the architect had a solution to it, a current low bidder, you could have a special meeting and then we could possibly still get it on the council agenda.
okay, so what we should try to do is have a subcommittee meeting sometime after tomorrow and a full commission remotely on the Wednesday, assuming the bids come in that we can actually recommend awarding them.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have some time to go through the bids and vet all the bidders to make sure scope is covered. So that's going to take at least a few days. I don't see how we're going to be able to just pop the cork on that right away.
Okay.
The
Well,
third will be aggressive. It's possible, but we'll try.
As soon as the subcommittee's ready and let George know, and we'll schedule a full commission if it will work in, if we can get it in before the council, or if the council is willing to have a special meeting.
We have to
before
do this by
special.
we have to do this by the 3rd?
Yeah, it's a week from today.
I was gonna say, I'm away this weekend actually, so that's gonna be very complicated for me.
By the 9th, but Mr. McKinney brings up a good point. The council's having budget meetings all throughout March. So even if the timing has to slide a little bit, you still might be able to get it in front of them March 24th or something like that, before the April meeting, put it that way.
I mean, ideally, we want to have the contract awarded before the end of March.
Right. I think
That'll
we could
allow
do that.
enough time, to get the shops in place and approval and materials ordered. Because right now, extruded aluminum is hard to come by for both doors and windows.
Sure. Well, just giving you notice that it may come to be that we have a one-item special meeting,
Yeah, yeah,
10
that's
minute,
good.
and that would hinge on if the bids come in good, the subcommittee feels we're ready to go. And so, just so, you don't say, how did this happen? So, okay, anybody else on this before we move on? Okay, park bathrooms, Mr. Arai.
I don't really have an update on this. I mean, we have the final drawings and they're ready to go to, I guess we're ready to get these approved by council, right?
Correct. I think you want to make a motion for the council to approve the final design and recommend or approve bidding. We can get them out on the street.
Right, and we have the final, I mean, so the drawings are in your packet. So they're ready to go. So I guess we should make that motion to approve the
Hi,
final
Diane.
design.
Okay, are you making that motion?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Okay, and there's someone seconding it?
I'll second. Go to Don.
We're on discussion for recommending the council, they go out to bid on the bathrooms up at Quinnipiac Field.
Okay,
Okay, anybody else have any questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. District Lab, Mr. Hvac or Mr. Naito?
Yeah, we'll let Mr. Nido take this ball. Let's see. Go get him. Go get him, Don. I'll back you up.
I did attend that non-mandatory walkthrough. I was kind of impressed with the number of contractors that were there. It seemed like there's a lot of interest. I know there's probably multiples from different companies, from some companies, I mean, but everybody was taking notes like crazy. So I assume we're gonna get some decent bids.
Yeah, I concur. We had a couple of material suppliers that showed up and then division specific contractors that showed up, but the majority were general contractors and it was well attended. I agree with that. So those bids are due March 11th. So we're hopeful we'll have good turnout, a good turnout on bid packages with that as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Cafeteria renovations, Mr. Durkee, Mr. Gussenberg.
All right, so we had a subcommittee meeting last week. And we have final drawings that we approved for the Public Building Commission to also approve it and to send it to council for bid. That's where we're at. I think they're in the attachment. I don't have my attachments here, so I don't know what we got.
There was an
Is that
attachment.
a motion, Steve?
I just reiterating what we happened there. So we have to make an emotion. If everybody's, the packets, everybody in the, I mean, you have in your packets, I think, the drawings. And our subcommittee went through those and we have moved forward with a design that has multi facets of minutes to make this thing work. So that's where we're at. So,
Oh, was that your motion?
so
That
my
was your
motion
motion,
is,
Steve, right?
my motion is that the Public Building Commission accept the bids, I mean, the drawings as designed, and we send them to council for bid.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
I just note that as we,
The architect for final design yet, so we have to have, we're probably gonna have to wait for that to happen. I'll try to push that this next week, and then we'll have a subcommittee on that final design, look at it, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll have to forward it next month. So,
He is addressing the water infiltration also, correct?
yes, and I said, we haven't seen that design yet, so we don't know what's there. I had a busy week, so I didn't get a chance to check on them. I will do that probably this week and have, maybe work out something for committee next week.
Okay. HVAC, the high school,
I think I last reported, we had a subcommittee meeting. I think we were under the impression that this was going to be a simple, basically replacement in kind. The more we started talking about it, the more complicated it got. We talked about ventilation, we talked about air conditioning component, and then I think it was Steve who came up with an idea that it might be better to go with a packaged rooftop system to satisfy the needs of the classrooms. So we agreed to that, and then ultimately agreed that it would be to hire some professional services to come up with a bid design, considering the complexity of installing one of these centralized ventilation systems. So we elected that we would go out to bid. The RFP is at the ready. So I'm going to make that we submit to the town council that we go to bid for professional services for HVAC improvements at Cheshire High School.
Second by Mr. Gussenberg. Discussion.
All right, so one thing we gotta just understand is that we broke the project and then the controls we're doing direct.
We're not doing the controls.
Not gonna do the controls this year?
No. No, because it's two different, you're gonna have basically two different trades trying to do the same thing, and it's gonna be too complicated in order to do that. So, I mean, we could add that as an amendment, 100% design or what have you to see what we have. But I think right now it's prudent that we just work on the ventilation component, which I think the subcommittee was in agreement that was the priority.
Okay, I remember control that.
And then whatever funds are left over, we can dedicate to an out year for addressing the legacy controls.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on this? Questions, comments? Okay. On the old business,
Was there a second to that motion?
I second it.
We need
whole
to
bunch
vote,
of seconds.
Chairman.
We need to
All right,
vote on
We
it.
need a wave from everybody. Yeah,
All in
everybody
favor?
raise your hand. Thank you.
Okay. Karen, can you see all the hands up too or no?
Not now, but yes, I could when they were up. Yes,
Okay, so that you just don't have to take my word that it's unanimous. Okay.
right. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Any other old business, new business?
Just a quick question.
Sure.
When we have our list of the Public Building Commission capital projects report, there are some items on there of things that have been closed out already. How does that money get moved around or sent back or whatever? For instance, I'm looking at, there's, things here for the library or whatever, so. What happens after we close down a project?
Me if I'm
Any money
wrong,
that
but-
we return that we don't use is the council's money. And they can put it back in the general fund. They could turn around and push it out in certain projects if they came under the right wording. Can you add to
Do you
that?
recommend that it be moved into other projects?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't do
Town
that.
council chose to, but the bottom line is when we do the closeout report, generally there's a line in the closeout report that says the PBC is done with this project and they recommend the funding for final.
The city did, if the town didn't bond it, they wouldn't have the actual money to transfer over. That's just really a
If the money was used, was authorized for a specific use and bonded, it can only be used for that use essentially, without a lot of.
So something like the library HVAC, now isn't that project, that's all done, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So there's
Still appears.
$4,000 that we're still showing.
Yeah,
But it's not our money to do with.
right, we did the closeout report on that, right? And so, yeah, we'll just take it off next time.
Okay, all right.
I mean, that balance stays on the book for some period of time. Maybe Diane can talk to that. I know if there's an amount that's bonded, they need to keep that on the books for a certain period of time. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I know sometimes you punch list items that are still hanging out there. That's about.
Yeah, no, Rich, I tried that a long time ago, trying to consolidate some of these
Well, I'd like to
stragglers.
get more money for the Norton cafeteria.
yeah.
project. I
Well,
Slide some money around.
If the project was bonded for a certain purpose, you can't just take it and put it to something.
Right.
All right, next try.
Anybody else?
Sorry to burst your bubble there.
And one of you people are about to make a motion to adjourn, I'm sure.
Make a motion
Or
to
not.
adjourn.
Okay, Steve,
And
anyone is a second? And that definitely is going to pass unanimously, right?
I don't know.
All
we gotta
hands
have
on that
second
one?
First.
I like this.
I'll be the second then.
Okay,
All in
Done.
favor, please
Aye.
raise your hand.
Yeah.
bye, guys. See you
Okay.
next time.
Thank you very much.